But we provide mental health and substance use supports within supportive housing settings in Halton for people with multiple needs and issues. People getting out of shelters, out of prisons and off the streets who need housing and supports. I also want to thank really the United Way, who've been a strong supporter and funder of our work. I want to continue to express my gratitude for this critical funding and support over the last many years. More to the point, COVID had a really substantial impact on our own and our clients' mental health and wellness over the last 8 months. We're all feeling the world has changed, and we know that it has. We know it may be temporary, but it doesn't feel like it. Doesn't feel that way. We realize things will be different. It's also a loss of normalcy and a loss of connection. So our population has experienced this in a more extreme way, whether it's less face-to-face connections with their supports, increased social isolation because of fewer group gathering, less services on the street for those who are homeless, increased substance use as a result of multiple complex issues, the loss of service job to make a little extra money, the loss of public spaces like Tim Hortons or libraries. But in this context, I wanted to tell you a story of impact and the increasing need for connection in this environment. In the summer, we experienced the loss of a client. The grief that attends with that experience and grief in the context of COVID and how grief is able to be expressed has been much different. So I wanted to share with you a short letter from a peer, John, to our client, Scott. I've changed his name. As you will recall, peers are people who have been there and traveled down the road in terms of similar mental health and substance use experiences. So John was working closely with this client at the time and wanted to provide something of comfort to Scott's mother and sister. So the client was someone Support House had been supporting for many years and had connected to many staff over that time. So this is a letter from the peer to the client in the absence of the client in support of the mother. Hey Scott, I spent a lot of time trying to write about you. I found that I needed to write to you rather than about you. You and I bonded right away from our first conversation to our last. We're able to establish in our talks and meetings the important things to discuss, but always ended them being peers. Our commonalities and interests matched. As we got further into knowing each other, I wondered if anyone else saw the big-hearted guy that wanted to see his community and those within it thrive, always putting people first. I was privileged to be in your life as you tried to figure out next steps in your life. You allowed me to walk alongside you as you took the guidance and suggestions of your support team. Part of this journey was to repair the relationship you had with your sister. I do miss the ride-along calls that I got from you almost every morning. Not a session, just as you put it, it's early, I know you're on the highway, just gonna keep you company for a bit. And those talks were literally about everything and anything except recovery. That was for sessions. It was during these talks that we got to know each other as guys. Our love of Western Canada, Alberta, Canmore, Banff, Jasper, hockey, of course. So glad that you were a Calgary fan. I have a personal comment about that, but I won't get into it here. Turns out many people saw the person that you were at your core. Your mother and sister were so amazing in allowing me to be part of their lives. You were so right to be proud of your family, especially your sister. I've once again been privileged to be witness to the memories of you from others throughout your life. It's truly amazing the memories people have of you and somehow so similar in how so many of us all felt about you. Testament to who you are, Scott. I think of you often, likely always you will be impacted, likely always will you impact my life in so many positive ways, Scott, and I thank you for that. There's so many ways and moments that ground us in how personal this work is when we work with people with mental health and complex needs, and how important and beautiful and difficult connections are and engagements are in this work, and how important connection and engagement is now, especially in light of some of the other issues going on. So just wanted to share that quick story because impact works both ways, right? And there's meaningful impact that come from the people we work with, and I think it's something I think that's substantively under-acknowledged in terms of the strength and impact that people have on on our work and the way we do our work. And so just in this context of the pandemic and thinking about how we, really are grounded in our values at Support House, our foundations about being person directed and our foundation of being client directed and, the need to connect, engage with people in more meaningful ways around their mental health and wellness. It's just one of those stories are around the impact that our workers have had and vice versa, how clients impact our work.